Peace and fam. So it is the beginning of February, and I've had a few days to sit with the kitchen on Netflix, and I just wanted to come and give you some reasons to watch. So, full disclosure, initial thoughts. I pressed like before I even started the movie the first time I watched it. Watched it like 3 times now. But I came for Kano and Posh Kenneth, and sorry, I came for Daniel Kaluuya and Kane Robinson. Yep. But I stayed for everything else. So you might know them as Kane Robinson, the, Sully from Top Boy, the whole Top Boy franchise, or Daniel Kaluuya, the Academy Award nominated Get Out Black Panther star. But I know them as Kano and Posh Kenneth. Kano being a very famous grime rapper out of the UK, and Posh Kenneth, Daniel Kaluuya. I don't know. Me and my cousin been calling him that for years, so it's kind of hard to break out of it. Daniel Kaluuya starred on a series way back in the day before, Get Out, Black Panther, and Black Mirror and all that, called Skins, UK, never US, which for my, adolescence was a pretty big deal. So, if you're not familiar, Skins is actually the first generation, produced quite a few big names. So it's not like, this is a pretty big deal. Like, it was Dev Patel, Nicholas Hoult, Kaya Scodelario, Hannah Murray, Joe Dempsey. It was quite a few big names from that, just the first generation alone. So to say that is to say that he, I believe, also wrote and or directed on one of those series. And this is when they were like in their teens, I believe. I'm not entirely sure if they were like of age. All of them completely. I know Kai wasn't. But I digress. This is not about Skins. That's another video. This is about The Kitchen, which Daniel actually, I believe, co-wrote and also directed this particular film. And it's Dystopia London. And it's a real, very concentrated view into the topic of classism, I believe. Reasons I loved this movie are the themes, the thematic elements that came through, the whole underlying conflict or conflicts, because there are several, the idea of losing one's family and trying to find some type of comfort in a world that seems so terribly unkind. I loved it, hands down. I think the cast was wonderful. Hope, cannot pronounce his last name, but also of, Top Boy, it is a Top Boy alum. He did a wonderful job in, playing kind of the villain, but a villain that you can understand. You can kind of understand how he got to this point, why he feels the way he feels, just by the circumstances that him and his friends are living in. At the end of the day, you cannot put people in certain circumstances and just imagine that everyone is going to react the same way. Some are probably going to get a little violent. The young man that played Benji, Jedediah Bannerman, he was amazing. I mean, his performance was so authentic and so refreshing, and just like, you could tell, like, he believed, what was happening. He was really able to connect, or I was able to connect to the story through him. My favorite scene in the movie was the lamp scene, I call it. And it's essentially when, they're in a room and it's just Izzy and Benji. And Benji's just going on about the lamp and the textures of the lamp, and somebody created this. And I'm thinking to myself, like, that's kind of how I feel about this movie. Like, look at all of the elements that are happening here. The way that, like, the sound and the design, the sound design and the score, and there's just the whole soundtrack. The fact that a hymn like Then Sings My Soul can lend its mastery to a scene to elevate it to the point where I'm like, God damn, that's beautiful. Pavement, moving pavement, just the shot of moving pavement to Then Sings My Soul was so magnificently beautiful to me. I thought it was a perfect scene. That's all that was needed. The funeral scene was amazing. The mentions of like 9 nights and, you know, that celebration of life that hits close to home, especially now for me, you know, with everything that's going on. So I thoroughly appreciated this. That song was sung at both my grandmother's funeral and several other family members, and I'm sure it will be sung from now until the end of time, because Jamaica is not gonna let that song alone. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But yeah, the cinematography was amazing. Like how it was shot, I totally could see Dystopia London. It was amazing. Like the backdrop was so magnificently done. The special effects, visual effects were unbelievable, and I would expect no less. Because if I'm gonna be honest, I kind of never expected Daniel Kaluuya to be in front of the camera that long. I fully expected him to have transitioned in this way, like maybe 5 years ago. But I understand and I appreciate the time and effort he's put into like honing that craft and kind of working through that. That's beautiful, because this is it's a vision. It's a vision. The commentary on classism and how that, you know, is affecting that particular society and those people. It was a jarring view of what could be, but also it gives a little hope to the fact that there are still human elements present. Like, yeah, sure, Izzy run, left Benji a couple times, riding off on the back, leaving him in an apartment by himself. Like, there's a lot of leaving that little kid behind, which kind of like tugs at your heartstrings a little bit, because all Benji wants really is his mom, and he can't have that, you know, and that's sad. And he still has to process that as his reality while living through this whole experience that should not be, but is. And I just think, you know, if you're willing to give it a shot, if you're willing to appreciate the pregnant pauses and the need for not actually saying words to express what you're feeling in a scene, you should definitely give The Kitchen a watch. It's worth it. It's well worth it, man. It's well casted, everything. Like, let me tell you something. I have to say this, the only thing I did not like about the movie is that it's a movie and it wasn't a series. It needed at least 8 episodes. Like, all of the criticism online and all of that, like, yeah, I get it. You know, I watch it with the lens with me, I watch it with, but hear me out. If this series had 8 episodes for you to kind of figure out who the characters are and how we got to where we are, it would be different. We'd be having a different conversation. So I think it should be a series. I still think that. I think this is a great prelude to a great ending. And, you know, if and when that I'm like, yo, call me, I can do some things like, you know, push Ken if I could do, you know, I could do the thing. So that's my only criticism. So until next time, you know, love out, and I'll see you in the future.